Hello everybody and welcome to day 22 of Junk Journal January 2024. If you are new to my channel, my name is Grace aka Ms. Paperlover. I mostly do journaling on my channel, but I throw in other things here and there. Now, as we are already on day 22, I am not going to explain what Junk Journal January is, and it's been going for a number of years now. I'm not even sure how many, so on the off chance you are unfamiliar, I will leave links at the top of the description box so you can find out if you are interested. There is of course, the playlist of all the different videos for all the prompts for this month, so obviously go and check those out as well and go see what everyone has been creating. So day 22's prompt is bookshelf, and I have a confession to make. So Meg, who organises all of this and creates the prompt list, she gives us YouTubers quite a long time. We choose our prompts, and then we have ages to make our video, but I always leave it to the last minute because that is just the type of person that I am. And I chose bookshelf. I thought that's really interesting. I love books. I can do, yeah, let's go for that. And then when it came to it, I was like, I'm stumped. I'm drawing a blank. I have no idea what to do. So I had to sit down and think about it for quite a while, but I am really happy with the idea I came up with, so I hope you like it too. To explain what I'm doing in the background here, obviously this was filmed at the end of December before it all started, is also why I have Christmassy nails, and I was just creating a little tag with the prompt list on so I can have that ready at the beginning of the month, and I can also move the tag around my journal. It doesn't have to be on a fixed page. So that's just what I'm doing here. I realise on day 22 it's probably a little bit irrelevant to you guys, but I thought I would share it anyway. So for my bookshelf pages, I have this paper pack. It's from Minté Papers. It's called Her Story, I believe. And there is a paper that is just a paper that's just a whole bookshelf. Just the whole thing is bookshelf, nothing else. If you don't have anything like this, I'm going to realise not everyone's going to have this paper pad. You can find any paper that has a bookshelf on, or that I've seen lots of printables that have something like this, or you could even just like Google a picture of bookshelf, maybe bookshelf wallpaper background or something like that, and print it off, and you would be able to do the exact same thing that I'm going to do with this. First, I chose a blank double page spread because I was going to cover the pages entirely, measuring out the pages and cutting 2 panels to completely cover those pages in this bookshelf pattern. And then what I'm going to do is take a craft knife and carefully cut out some of these book spines. I've chosen some of the slightly larger ones because that just makes it easier if they're a bit bigger and a bit more sturdy than the others. It doesn't matter if your cutting is not very neat. Mine certainly isn't, because it's going to be put back in place and you won't really be able to tell. One thing I do is I turn it over because it can be quite hard to see where your cut lines are on the pattern side, so turn it over to finish off any cutting. Then I am taking scrap bits of cardstock, just leftovers and scraps from other projects, and cutting a little strip that is slightly smaller in height than the little spine itself, and the lengths actually change throughout because they need to be able to fit in the little space. Then I will glue the little spine to the very left edge of that little cutout piece of card I've made, and that will slide back into place, and it will be like a little book you can pull out of the bookshelf. So on each one of these little panels I've made, I am adding a picture of a book that I want to read this year. Obviously you can just write the name of the book or draw a picture or whatever. I'm using a thermal printer. This is the Phonemo thermal printer, but you know, just whatever you want to do. And that's it really. I put the picture of the book on and then I slide it back into its little place. Now, you could do all sorts to these little panels. You could add loads of decoration if you wanted to. I'm probably going to go back and then do like a mini review, like maybe a star review on each one, but you could do as much or as little as you wanted to do with them. I was thinking about maybe putting 5 little empty stars or star outlines, and then I could fill it in for my star rating, but then I realized they would just look terrible and it would look better if I just drew them when the time comes. If you have like a little star stamp, that would work perfectly for this. So here I am making another one. The one thing you want to keep in mind when you make these little pockets or slide outs, pull outs, whatever you want to call them, is that there is enough room on the right edge of the paper, so they're not going to go you know, they're not going to overlap underneath. They need to fit within the space of the paper of the bookshelf. Otherwise, it's just not going to work, and they're going to stick out, and it, as I said, it won't work. A little example here of something else to add. I'm going to add a little note on this one that basically says, if you like this book, then read the rest of the series, because it's the first in a series, but I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. So little note to self on that one. Now, I only cut out 4 spines and make 4 little slide outs on this side, mostly because this was my first try at doing this, and I was just trying to be careful and not make the paper too weak. I got a bit more confident on the other side and managed to do 6 on the other side, but you know, go slowly at first. Don't cut them all out straight away. Just do one and then another, and then you want to try and make it so 2 empty spaces aren't too close to each other, because then the paper can tear and break. So space them out a little bit. Now, me personally, I am quite a big reader, so this is not my all the books I want to read this year. This is my must read list, because obviously I can only make a certain amount of little pullouts on these pages. Obviously you can do as many pages as you wanted, but I went with 12, so there's 1 a month that I absolutely really want to get read this year. And I haven't even decided on all of them, so some of them are blank, and I will fill them in as I go, just to make the little books that are the ones to slide out just stand out a little bit. I'm going around those spines with either a gold or white gel pen. This is a total personal preference thing, obviously. If you really want them to blend in and not know exactly which ones it is unless you look really closely, you can do that. But I wanted them just to stand out just a little bit, and I think I add something else to them a little bit later on. Now, I wouldn't say the tricky part, but one part you have to pay attention to is how you now stick it down. So I put all the little slidey parts into place, carefully flip the paper over because they will fall out in that situation, and just carefully draw around the space that each slider needs. So you do not put any glue or adhesive on those places, because if you put glue or adhesive there, the whole thing is not going to work. So you can see I've drawn very, very rough lines. I am going to be using double-sided tape and red line tape for these. I need the red line tape for the slightly smaller areas. I think if you were to use a liquid adhesive, it's a little bit risky because, you know, it can obviously spread once you stick it on. You don't know exactly where it's going to go, so it might end up blocking one of the little slidey or pull out little pieces. So yes, I do think a dry adhesive is better for this. I also just added a little bit of Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo around the edges. I also rounded the corners of the panel. I just thought it looked nicer. That's all there is to that. And I also added a little bit of Distress Oxide around each little empty gap where the little books will go in. And then I remove the tape and stick the panel down very, very slowly and carefully. And there we go, slot all those little book pieces back in, and it's time to do the other side. I'm probably making it sound way more complicated than it is. I've never been good at craft tutorials. Processes, yes. Tutorials, not so much. But I think it's super, super cute, and I really, really love the way this turned out. Now, I saved you from watching me do this all over again on the other panel, because you only need to see me cut out a spine of a book and stick it to a piece of card so many times. But as I said before, this side has 6 books, just because I felt a bit more confident on the second panel on how the whole thing would work. The only thing is I had to make a few of the cards a little bit shorter so they would fit in the space. That one I'm putting there is actually a symbol for a whole load of books, because I've already put number 12 in, and that's the book I am most excited about. It comes out on the 6th of December. Yes, I have already pre-ordered it. It's the 5th book in the Stormlight Archive, and I'm very, very excited for it, and I realise a lot of you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's a big deal in the fantasy genre. We've been waiting some time for this book, and we are all very, very excited. So before that, the little symbol is I want to reread some of the related books, but I haven't decided which ones yet, so that's why I just put the little symbol in for it. Here I am. I figured out when you have the little cards overlapping each other underneath, it's easiest to put the furthest one to the right in rather than do it the other way around. So just a little tip there. So obviously at this stage you could just leave it as it is. I think it does look pretty good, just completely plain and kind of mysterious, I suppose. But that is not the kind of person I am. I am a maximalist, and I'm going to add all the stickers and decoration that I want. I say all the stickers and decoration. It's not too much. I obviously had to add some ripped up book pages. Everything is mostly going to be book themed for the decoration that I'm adding. Um, at first, I was trying to make sure that none of my decoration went over the little cutout spines, but then I accidentally did it at one point and realized I can just cut through, like, so there's a sticker over partly over one of the spines. You just cut through it with a craft knife and then the decoration is still there, but the little book still comes out. While I do this little decoration stage of these pages, I don't really have a whole lot to talk about because it's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm just going to shut up for a minute or two, let you watch, and then I will be back shortly. The final thing I am going to do is add some little numbers to the book pullouts. I wanted them to stand out in some way a little bit more and make them look more like a library. At first I thought maybe I'd add something like Jan, Feb, or, you know, but then I thought I've got no way to do that that's small enough, so I went with these tiny little number stickers from back in my planner days. I'm also going to go over them with a Stabilo all pencil in brown to make them a little bit less white and more vintagey to blend in with everything else. Also, putting numbers on them kind of means I'm not fixing myself to reading this book in February and this book in July. I can swap them around a bit if I feel like it. But with that done, my pages are finished. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you liked the video. I'm really proud of this idea. I'm not gonna lie. I think it looks super cute. And as I said before, you do not need this exact paper to do an idea like this. Just anything with a bookshelf or books on would work. So there we go. Thank you again for watching. Please obviously remember to check out the Junk Journal January, not July. I do this every year. The playlist with everybody's videos on. Huge thanks to Meg at Meg Journals for organising this. Again, another brilliant prompt list. She put so much hard work into it, and thank you for inviting me to join as well. Leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Chat to me in the comments. Let me know what you're doing for this prompt, or let me know what your reading list is for this year. I'm a book nerd. I would love to know, and I'll be looking out on Instagram and YouTube and all the places to see what people are doing with their prompts for this day, because I just love seeing these things. So please tag me in your projects, because as I said, I would love to see them. Anyway, really time to go now. Thank you yet again. Happy Junk Journal January, and I am going. Bye bye.